across the 24 campuses in every borough in the City University of New York. This is a press conference, not a rally. But times like these, we need to gain some energy. We need to gain some solidarity. So I want to begin, before we go to today's speakers, with a chant. And the chant is today's theme, which is hands off CUNY and hands off higher education. And so when I say higher education, you say hands off, okay? Higher education, hands off! City University, hands off! Academic freedom, hands off! International students, hands off! Freedom of speech, hands off! Freedom of assembly, hands off! That's right, hands off. Hands off CUNY, hands off University of California, Berkeley, hands off Georgetown University. So the question today is, why is the Chancellor of the City University of New York been summoned alongside the Chancellors of Georgetown, the Chancellor of the University of California, Berkeley? Why have they been summoned to testify before a hearing of the House Committee on Education and Workforce? And we're going to hear today from a number of speakers who bring different backgrounds and different experiences. We're going to hear from Jewish and non-Jewish faculty members and legislators. But the consensus is very clear. Tomorrow's hearing on Capitol Hill is yet another cynical attempt to use sincere anxiety about the rise in anti-Semitism in the most insincere way. The hearing is being used to ambush university leaders yet again, to smear faculty and students yet again, to threaten to defund our institutions yet again, and to dismantle higher education. These colleges are key economic engines, but they're also critical to an operating, working democracy. And that's what's really at stake in these hearings. The Republicans in Congress don't want a working democracy.
That's right.
This is a feature, it's not a bug, of their governing strategy. They want fewer people to experience the social mobility and the agency that comes along with a college education. That's what they showed us over the July 4th weekend in the catastrophic budget and policy bill that they pushed through. They want to starve universities. They want to move an ideological agenda, not a thoughtful curriculum shaped by educators. All for what? All in order to deliver tax breaks for the super rich and put more ICE agents into our streets. It's shameful.
Shame.
What's happening tomorrow in this hearing is a distraction. It's a sideshow, while the true brutality of the Trump agenda, an exceptional brutality in our lifetimes, exceptional in its brutality, gets advanced through a budget reconciliation process. It is not like the CUNY administration has refused to take steps to address sincere concerns about anti-Semitism at our university. They have responded to an independent report that Governor Hochul commissioned.
That's right.
They entered into a voluntary agreement with the Federal Department of Education Office of Civil Rights about Title VI compliance. They established a university-wide center for ethnic, religious, and racial understanding. And they implemented a new system for reporting and tracking complaints of anti-Semitism and discrimination. They have taken many, many steps already, and the Chancellor will speak to those tomorrow at the hearing. Of course, chancellors have a responsibility to confront anti-Semitism, just as they have a responsibility to confront Islamophobia and all forms of bigotry. But we cannot accept the basic premise of these hearings, and that is the notion that all campus activism around these issues is intrinsically anti-Semitic, if not criminal.
You support anti-Semites! You support anti-Semites!
Case in point.
You support anti-Semites!
We will not have activism around Palestine criminalized. We will not have everyone smeared.
You support anti-Semitic council members like
What
Timothy
is the consequence of indulging folks like this? What is the consequence of indulging
you support
Mickey
the
Mouse hearings
anti-Semitic
like the one on
progressive
Capitol Hill tomorrow?
caucus? Anti-Semitic
It creates a climate of
progressive
repression.
caucus.
It
PSC
violates people's
supports
rights.
The anti-Semitic
And it
progressive
trivializes the
caucus.
real work of combating anti-Semitism. It trivializes. What CUNY administrators have done is to investigate faculty for the terms in which they discuss the war in Gaza. They have limited on our campuses time, place, and manner restrictions on free speech. They have invited police to confront nonviolent protesters. And most recently, and most shamefully, they have fired 4 faculty members for their extramural speech, for their activism around Palestine. It's shameful and it's dangerous. The fired 4 faculty members should be reappointed immediately. So look, this is what's happening on Capitol Hill. These committee hearings are deeply unserious. They are unserious. But what they are serious about is undermining our hard-won rights and our funding. They are dead serious about that. So university leaders must stand together. University leaders need to confront fascism. They need to not accommodate it. Academic workers and students must stand together to confront fascism, not accommodate to it. That's right. And I want to say one last thing before we go to our speakers, which is this. The thing that bothers me the most, as somebody who worked 18 years on a Brooklyn College campus, right? And who's now the president of this union for 4 years. What bothers me the most about these hearings is that they threaten to obscure the extraordinary work that my members do. The work that happens week in and week out on our campuses. And we won't hear about that in the hearings. What the City University does is to model a genuinely pluralistic democracy. My members do that work every single day. We challenge our students. We hold ourselves to a high standard. We care about the safety of all of our students. But safety does not mean freedom from discomfort. I'm sorry. A rigorous education means sometimes being made uncomfortable. And in fact, the times that we are living in demand no less. I want to introduce our speakers. Our first speaker is joining us from the office of Congressmember Gerald Nadler. Jerry Nadler serves the 12th Congressional District, 17 terms with distinction. Congressmember Nadler couldn't be here because Congress is going into session right now, but his chief of staff is with us to bring remarks from Congressmember Nadler. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Gottheim.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here on behalf of Congressman Nadler. These hearings are nothing more than an attack on higher education, cloaked under the guise of fighting anti-Semitism. If congressional Republicans were truly committed to combating anti-Semitism, they would stop covering up the anti-Semitism in their own party and demand that President Trump stop employing anti-Semites in his Republican administration. Instead of congressional Republicans standing behind anti-Semites like Trump Defense Department Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson or National Security Council Sebastian Gorka. If the goal of congressional Republicans is to score cheap political hits, but not to score cheap political hits, I should say, but to highlight a commitment to combating anti-Semitism in higher education, they would not have supported the Trump administration's cut defunding the United States Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. The very office that investigates anti-Semitism on college campuses. These hearings are nothing more than Trump and the Republicans in Congress's war on free speech, academic freedom, and institutions of higher education. All under the false guise of combating anti-Semitism.
Why
The
is
American
Brad
people
there? You're a cunt,
will
Brad
see
Lander.
through this empty
Brad
rhetoric.
Lander, you're a fucking
We will
cunt.
not be fooled by nefarious
I survived 2
and
bombings, you piece
wasteful
of shit.
and
2
ridiculous
bombings
charade.
in
So,
Israel. And
on
you
behalf
fucking,
of Congressman
fuck
Nadler,
you.
he stands with the professional staff of Congress. He stands with CUNY. CUNY educates New Yorkers. We need CUNY. We don't want MAGA Republicans and Trump telling us in New York what we should do. Thank you very much.
PSC! 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 PSC!
When education is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When CUNY workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When CUNY funding is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back!
Are we going to be yelled down? Hell no! No way. The next speaker is somebody who's used to being yelled at in public places. Why? Because he is a tireless, fearless champion for progressive causes. Brad Lander, New York City Comptroller. We're happy to have Brad here with us because he leads with principles and he leads with his heart. He is an unwavering supporter of CUNY and the PSC. Comptroller Lander understands the importance of our colleges and what we do every day. Put your hands together for New York City Comptroller Lander. Thank you. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
Let's
like!
be clear, CUNY is what democracy looks like. Public higher education is what democracy looks like. Free speech is what democracy looks like. The enemies of democracy have a playbook. And let's be clear, the enemies of democracy are on the march. And they're convening a hearing tomorrow in Washington, D.C. to come at higher education. And look, the enemies of democracy are on the march right here in City Hall Park as well. They try to shout down other people's protests. They try to scream over the voices of free speech. They try to target folks like me, the highest ranking Jewish elected official in New York City government. We know what democracy requires, and that's why we're out here to fight for it. And look, I don't say that lightly, you know. My son is named after one of the leaders of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. So I take seriously what it takes to stand up against anti-Semitism. But you know what makes Jews safe? Is inclusive multiracial democracy. Jews have thrived thanks to public higher education and CUNY. Jews have thrived thanks to the rule of law. And so what we are out here doing today is standing up for CUNY, standing up for the rights of faculty, standing up because what brown shirts do is try to intimidate. And I don't say this lightly. We've got some aspiring brown shirts out here today, and we've got some aspiring brown shirts in Congress trying to intimidate CUNY tomorrow. But we will not be bullied by this nonsense. I've been bullied by better than you, Chris Leon Johnson. If those ICE agents couldn't take me down, you're definitely not going to take me down.
I want to tell you the place that I felt like democracy was actually the most thriving anywhere I've been in the last couple of months. I got about 6 weeks ago to be the commencement speaker at City College uptown. And boy, City College is a remarkable, thriving place, one of the flagships of the City University of New York. Such smart, bright kids. And you know, City College has been an incredible place for Jewish New Yorkers over the generations. Anybody that doubts it, I urge you to go watch that movie, Arguing the World. Partly, I do think that the MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump seem to be confused about the difference between socialists and communists. So I urge you to go watch about Alcove 1 and Alcove 2 at CUNY in the 1930s. You'll learn a little something. But more important than that, boy, these students that graduated from City College this year are an incredible, inspiring bunch. The salutatorian is the son of Jamaican immigrants in Southeast Queens. He's going to be a doctor. But right now he's got to work at an urgent care clinic because he can't afford the housing that's necessary just to be able to go to grad school. The valedictorian at City College is a young woman named Aylin, who arrived here from El Salvador 6 years ago, not speaking any English. And now she just graduated as valedictorian from one of the great public colleges in this country. And she's going to work at the Department of Homeless Services to help other New Yorkers. CUNY, let's be clear, is a third of our public school teachers, is half of our public school nurses. And what we are going to do is stand up and protect the faculty members that give them the education that they deserve and that all CUNY students deserve. And that requires protecting their constitutional rights. And so when faculty members are fired because of their political expression, we stand up and fight back. Those faculty members are not going to be intimidated by aspiring brown shirts, and they're not going to be intimidated by an administration that won't stand up for their constitutional rights. So what I just promise you is, every day that I can, I'm going to fight against the weaponization against anti-Semitism, against our democracy, because what keeps Jews safe is the same as what keeps Muslims safe, is the same as what keeps Latinos safe, is the same as what keeps African Americans safe, is the same as what keeps Catholics and Presbyterians and every other New Yorker safe. And that's inclusive multiracial democracy. That's what's at stake in our defending CUNY. That's why we're out here today. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Don't get it twisted.
One more time for Comptroller Brad Lander. Our next speaker is a longtime CUNY supporter. He currently represents the 74th Assembly District right here in Manhattan. He's also a PSC endorsed candidate for New York City Council. And he's an adjunct faculty member at CUNY Law. Assembly member Harvey Epstein is a proud PSC member. Put your hands together for Harvey Epstein.
PSC's in the house! You know, it's really important in these moments when we saw what happened last week in Congress, when we see the attack on higher education, the attack on people who want to go into creative field, the attack that says we are not going to fund higher education if your income is going to be lower than maybe the average income. The income for a social worker in New York is lower than most incomes in New York. The people who are in New York want to do social justice work. And that is the message we heard from Congress. The message about defunding Medicaid and food stamp and hurting the social safety net is the message we hear from Washington. Tomorrow, the message we're going to hear from Washington is how public education isn't important. Well, we know that public education is the thing that changes people's lives. In my district, Baruch College is an institution that changes people's lives every day. It takes people from lower income to higher income better than almost any college in the United States. That is the CUNY. That is something that's in our city. That is something that we stand for. That is something that Chancellor fights with us. When we heard about anti-Semitic attacks on campus, the chancellor, the president of the college, PSC came together to come with solutions to protect students. So when there's talk about PSC and the CUNY system not fighting anti-Semitism, it is total crap because they don't want to hear the truth. This hearing in Washington is a sham. The hearing in Washington is an attempt to attack public higher education, and we won't stand for it. We're going to stand for our values. We're going to stand for our community. We're going to stand for multiculturalism. We're going to stand for a New York that we were raised in and believe in. That is our fight. And this fight is not going to end tomorrow. This fight is going to continue. It's going to be a fight in the future of New York City, the future of the United States. It is totally a future we need to continue to fight for. And for people who don't respect our values and our beliefs, they can go screw themselves. Because these are our values, and these are our beliefs, and these are our things we fight for every day. Damn, I've been Jewish my whole fucking life. I've been experiencing anti-Semitism my whole fucking life. I've been asked where my horns are. I've been at my assembly office, anti-Semitic things been put on it. But the reality is, for people who come up here and don't know what the fuck they're talking about, they should sit the fuck down and ignore it. Because we are the future, fighting for a New York that believes in fighting anti-Semitism, fighting Islamophobia, fighting hate, and that's what PSC is, and that's what we're fighting for. And the thing in Washington is just a bullshit scam, and we should keep fighting for our values. Thank you.
Anybody here feeling intimidated? I'm not. I'm not intimidated. We're going to keep at it. You know what I'm hearing? I hear some desperation. I hear desperation. Our next speaker is New York State Senator representing the great 25th District in Brooklyn. Senator Jabari Brisport chairs the Senate Committee on Children and Families. He is a former school teacher himself. We know him as a stalwart champion of CUNY students, faculty, and staff, a tireless advocate for LGBTQ community, and a powerful voice in Albany for justice. Join me in welcoming State Senator Jabari Brisport. Who are we?
PSC!
Who are we?
PSC!
Who are we?
PSC!
Who are we?
PSC!
So I'm gonna give a quick history lesson because I'm old enough to remember in 2017 when Republicans marched through the streets of Charlottesville, Virginia with tiki torches shouting, "Jews will not replace us." And I remember it because I was there the Saturday right after to counter-protest those Nazis. And I remember it because I got hit with tear gas by those Nazis. And I remember it because Donald Trump said some of them were very nice people. Because the fact of the matter is, the Republican Party has never cared about any marginalized group, Jewish or otherwise. They have pretended to care as a pretense for weakening public institutions and funneling money to the one minority they care about, the 1%. But we know better in New York City. CUNY does not answer to Donald Trump. CUNY does not answer to congressional Republicans. CUNY answers to the people of New York City. We have the power right here, and we will keep the power, and we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight for CUNY. Thank you.
One more time, Senator Jabari Brisport. We are going to fight. I just want to give a quick shout out before we go to our next speaker. Public Advocate Jamani Williams couldn't be here today. He sent staffer Lupe. Shout out Lupe, thank you for being here. Champion, we have a champion in the Public Advocate's office. Our next speaker is Assembly Member representing District 34 in the People's Republic of Queens. Assemblymember Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, a former CUNY instructor herself, a former PSC member, deeply committed to CUNY students and workers, Assemblymember Jessica Gonzalez Rojas.
Who are we?
PSC!
Who are we?
PSC!
Who are we?
PSC!
I am so proud to be a former PSC member. I am so proud to be a former adjunct at City College. And I'm so proud to stand here along students, academics, activists, community leaders to say no war on universities. Let's call this hearing for what it is. It is a farce. As MAGA Republicans are attempting to care about anti-Semitism, they are advancing their neo-Nazi agenda. They are quelling free speech. They are quelling dissent. They are quelling dissent and ideas and critical thinking. That is not democracy. You know, you look at authoritarian regimes across the country and across the globe, and you see what they do. They first go after the journalists, then they go after the activists, and then they go after the academics. And it's always the institutions of learning that have been the hotbed of democracy, the hotbed of activism, and the hotbed of new ideas for our future. So I stand here in solidarity with every single one of us as we fight for our future. We must have a smart, educated, thoughtful, critical thinking future in order to build the world that we want. One that is inclusive of all ideas. One that is fighting for equity, for dignity, and for justice. And I stand every day and fight along each one of us to fight for our future. So let's end this war on higher education and uplift CUNY and PSC. Thank you so much.
JGR, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Our next speaker represents City Council District 33 in North Brooklyn. He is a paragon of transparency, accountability, and integrity in city government, among other things, Lincoln. Things that we could really use at the federal level. Join me in welcoming City Council Member Lincoln Ressler.
Let's give it up for James Davis and the PSC! Anti-Semitism is all too real. We keep seeing the number of anti-Semitic incidents growing in our city year after year after year. Last year there were about 1,000 unique anti-Semitic incidents in the 5 boroughs. These are scary times. And the Republicans in Washington do not give a shit. These hearings are a show, they are a clown car, they are not there to protect me, they are not there to protect my fellow Jews, they are there to attack higher educational institutions. So we have a message to Phalo as he heads down tomorrow. We have your back. We support CUNY. Why is Elise Stefanik and the House Republicans attacking CUNY? Because CUNY is actually transforming the lives of working people. A majority of the students in CUNY come from households earning less than $20,000 a year. And after 2 or 4 years at CUNY, lives are transformed. People are entering the middle class. Nobody achieves economic mobility in the entire United States of America like the City University of New York. So we will not allow for these disingenuous, McCarthy-like attacks on higher education. We will not allow it on CUNY. We will fight for the professors, for the students, for the people that make CUNY great every step of the way.
I know you want to block him, but please.
And I just want to say, there were 4 professors that were fired last week. And I don't have all the details, but it certainly appears that they were fired for their political beliefs and their activism.
Fire ISIS!
That is a shameful, that is a shameful thing. That is a shameful thing. In our democracy, we believe that every student, every professor, every staff member deserves to be able to fight and organize for what they believe in. So we need due process here in CUNY. We need to make sure
that when professors are being let go, that it's not happening unilaterally in the middle of the night. That there is real engagement with the PSC, with the union, to make sure that professors have rights. So we are fighting for CUNY, we are fighting with CUNY in DC tomorrow, and we will fight CUNY leadership when they do wrong by our professors and by our leaders every step of the way. Let's make sure that tomorrow is a day where we show that CUNY is a place that is committed to the rights of all, committed to fighting anti-Semitism, committed to fighting hate in every way. We have CUNY's back. It's CUNY needs to have ours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Ressler. What we do, as the council member said, what we do at CUNY every day is a threat. It's a threat to the authoritarians that are in power, and that's why they send people out to try to shout us down. We will not be shouted down. My next speaker is on the National Council of an organization that's tremendously important in this fight. None of us can do this alone, and it takes organizations like the American Association of University Professors to fight on the ground and in the courts. We're joined today by Professor Chenjerai Kumanyika, a faculty member at NYU School of Journalism, and a member of the National Council of the AAUP. Put your hands together and join me in welcoming Chenjerai Kumanyika. Professor.
When our universities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When academic freedom is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our faculty are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our Jewish comrades are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our Muslim colleagues are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
My name is Chenjerai Kumanyika, and I'm speaking today on behalf of the National American Association of University Professors. I'm honored to be here in solidarity with CUNY PSC. Yes, people in this city and really around the world understand what CUNY represents. And the ability to teach, to have robust debates, to bring up and lean into controversial topics is absolutely central to what CUNY does. So we're here to say, with thousands of educators and folks here have already said, hands off higher ed, hands off CUNY. Tomorrow's hearing in Washington is just the latest front in a coordinated, cynical campaign. MAGA Republicans are not interested in protecting students. They're weaponizing real fears about anti-Semitism to stoke division, chill dissent, and silence critical speech. But we're not going for that. When our voices are loud, we can tune out all that noise, am I right? Listen, as a scholar and journalist and teacher, my teaching and reporting focus on policing and the history of American myths and the long fight for social justice. And regardless of where you stand on those issues, education in a democracy depends on our ability to engage in robust public debate, to wrestle with radical ideas and confront real history. Now, you know, what my colleague Bridgeport was just saying, I was also in Charlottesville, and I saw how real anti-Semitism could be. And I also saw our president defend that nonsense.
I see it better!
Let me be clear.
I see it better than you!
AAUP, we've been committed to fighting anti-Semitism, all right? And we're also bound to act when our members call for an end to scholasticide and a genocide in Palestine. Democracy requires that we're able to do both things at the same time. So let me be clear. Peaceful protest is not anti-Semitism. Criticism of Israeli foreign policy is not hate speech. Solidarity with Palestinians is not a crime. And I'm hearing from more and more of my Jewish comrades, just as we heard here in all our membership, that enough is enough. Enough of this charade, not in our name. What's happening at CUNY is a warning. Faculty are being investigated, speech is being restricted, students are being disappeared, people are being fired, all right? And it's still not enough for the McCarthyites in Congress. The people behind these attacks, they don't want safety, they want submission. And we're not gonna give it to them. This is not just about the future of universities, it's about the future of democracy itself. So we're gonna keep standing up. Thank you very much.
Our final speaker is Distinguished Professor at the CUNY Graduate Center, Michelle Fine. Dr. Fine is Distinguished Professor of Psychology and Urban Education. She is a founding faculty member of the Public Science Project at CUNY. She has received Lifetime Achievement Awards from the American Psychological Association and American Educational Research Association, and we are very grateful she has joined us today to share her remarks. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michelle Fine.
I'm Michelle Fine. I teach at the Graduate Center. I'm also visiting faculty at the University of South Africa. I left the University of Pennsylvania in 1991 to come to the Graduate Center. My mother was the youngest of 18, a Jewish refugee from Poland. My father, an orphan from Poland. Both came here at age 7 in 1921. And I'll tell you, Rose Hoffer and Yankel Yankelevich didn't schlep all the way here to have their stories weaponized as a rationale for academic McCarthyism and racism. Hands off CUNY. It seems particularly ironic that the House Committee on Education and Workforce is holding hearings to protect student civil rights and what they call university accountability, while funding violent assaults in Gaza and domestically on students who are international, Muslim, Latino, students with disabilities, low-income and working class, DACA and undocumented, pro-Palestine activists, queer and trans students. Where were the congressional hearings for Mahmoud Khalil, for Rumeza Ozturk?
We love Israel!
So Representative Stefanik and your friends who are here, let me be clear. I'm a Jew at CUNY, and like thousands of Jewish faculty, staff, and students at Harvard, at Columbia nationwide, we do not feel unsafe. We refuse to be complicit in your Project Esther campaign to destroy public education. The assault on higher ed and on organized labor is not about protecting Jews, any more than the vicious ICE attacks are about keeping our communities safe. These hearings are an anti-intellectual, anti-worker, in fact anti-Jewish, Black, Muslim, queer, academic freedom policy that smells more like white Christian nationalism than like challah. Our sister, long gone, but still with us, Audre Lorde reminded us our silence will not protect us. So we say, not in our name. We will not permit a resounding global critique of Israel to be weaponized as anti-Semitic speech.
Shame on Turkey!
We don't just disagree about what's anti-Semitism. We disagree on what constitutes academic accountability. At CUNY, we're not at least the people of CUNY, we're not interested in doxing, silencing, censoring, suspending, firing. We're interested in engaging the difficult in our classrooms, in our hallways, on our campuses. I'm going to give you one story. I had lots, but there's no time. A few years ago, we hired a brilliant scholar at the Graduate Center who's getting trashed by anti-Palestinian right-wing pundits. The provost didn't know what to do, and I said, send them to me. So a group of us met with these very angry Jewish philanthropists who told us CUNY is the most anti-Semitic university in the country. And I said to him, as I say to you, CUNY is so Jewish. Sorry to be hegemonic. We're Jews of all flavors. We're Lubavitch and Hasidic and former Lubavitch. We're Reformed and Socialist and Agnostic and Atheist. We're in Jewish studies, Arab studies. We're in the Union. We head up SJP. And we argue as Jews do. There is Jew-on-Jew violence and yelling at each other. Some of that tumbles into the... There it is. University life is not safe. It's provocative, it's challenging, it's engaging. And even more so these days when we have students from all religious groups, all racial and ethnic groups. We have IDF soldiers, we have January 6th pardoned students. But this is our work. PSC, the workers of CUNY, we don't step back from this, we engage it. I won't tell you how beautiful the encampment was, except that many of us brought our grandchildren. And there was art, and there was education, and there was solidarity. And excuse me, sir, I'm talking.
Collaborators!
There were songs and melodies in Yiddish, in Arabic, in Spanish. There were Shabbat dinners and prayer circles. I held a small gathering 2 mornings on the green. What are the questions on your heart? And people brought their questions. What is Zionism? What's anti-Zionism? Does river to sea mean we have to go into the ocean? We had those conversations. That's what CUNY does. And in spring 24, the evening of the brutal police raid on the encampment, many CUNY faculty, staff, and students traveled down to One Police Plaza to stand with our students who had been beaten and arrested by the NYPD. These were students who were US born and international, Arab, Jewish, Middle Eastern, Muslim, Black, Latinx, Asian, some with disabilities, some gay, trans, bold, brilliant, aching, from the Bronx, from Brooklyn, from Queens, from Manhattan, and from Staten Island. And we stood together not because we all agreed. We stood together because our students dared to be advocating for our justice in the world, dared to take on an issue that the rest of the country had walked away from. And yet I would be remiss if I did not mention that as Washington launches an investigation into CUNY, that our own CUNY administration has terminated 4 adjunct faculty and suspended 1 student for reasons unspecified, with chairs uninformed, tied to political speech, perhaps out of the classroom. We are under attack from without and from within. But we're CUNY. We're gentle and we're fierce. We do not engage in anticipatory obedience, and we do not cower in the face of threats. And when our students stand for a world not yet, as they did in 1968, we stand beside them. And maybe in 50 years, I probably won't be there, but there will be a CUNY celebration of the encampments and the brilliance and the courage of our students. Tomorrow is just one more chapter in the long history of CUNY's struggle. We got this one. CUNY is a force of nature and we can't be stopped.
Thank you so much, Professor Fine. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a round of applause for coming out today. I want to close us with this, because we're not daunted, we're not cowed, we're not intimidated, we're leaning in. But if you're going to watch tomorrow's hearing, you got to be prepared. And I want everybody who listens to what goes down in that hearing to hold your chin up. Hold your chin up high, CUNY. Hold your chin up, because this is being done in order to advance a lot of smears and a lot of mischaracterizations of what happens at our university. It's so politicians like Elise Stefanik can flex for 20 minutes on video for a good for a good campaign video that she can make, right? It is not to make our workplaces safer for anyone. They want to leave an impression,
How's your video
and you
going?
cannot believe it, they want to leave an impression that our campuses are in chaos and divided. But you who work and study at CUNY, you know better. You know the extraordinary things that happen week in and week out at our colleges, in your classrooms, and the way that we all strive to support our students and to keep our college communities intact in tremendous times of division. We stand up for fairness, we stand up for our rights, and we do stand up for each other. So when I say, who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? People power. Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
That's right, we're going to keep fighting. Thank you, everyone.
When academic workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Academic workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Academic workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When free speech is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When universities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When education is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Free speech is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Academic freedom is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Academic freedom is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Free speech is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
CUNY students are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Our CUNY students are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. We will be back. Woo!